Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name's Dina. Thank you guys for joining us. Take a moment, set your intentions, take a few deep breaths with me. Today, I've taken a few moments and I have laid out the cards, the first layer into a Celtic cross. I'm using Dreams of Gaia for the first spread, and this is giving me a couple pre-messages. I'll go ahead and get some other cards here also, but the initial impression as I've meditated on this is that there's this moment of surpassing limitation. There's been a vision that you have held for some time, and there is the moment of overcoming a limitation, which brings some authenticity, and then there's this activation through the emotional, and blending heart and mind together here comes up, I believe, 3 times at the minimum. We've primarily got water and earth and major arcana here laid out, and there's this even suggested an emotional response where this helps us to expand the heart space. This is a bit similar to what we had yesterday. The heart's expansion is then motivating new perspectives and new actions based upon that expanded awareness. And so then for a time, there's probably a bit of cognitive dissonance as the inner mental capacities kind of struggle to connect new synaptic endpoints, new frameworks. And then this challenges this belief, and 3 others are connected to that belief. And then once this restructuring goes on, then there's this other layer of if this, then also this other thing. And so, for instance, just a hypothetical, let's say that somebody has a family member that is under pressure and expected to act in a specific way, or it conform to specific social norms, and then this individual reveals that they have ideas and practices and behaviors that stand outside of this social norm, and then this challenging the belief of the head of the organization or the whatever. And then there's this revision of, yes, but you are a good person, yes, but I love you, or family versus professional place. Then it's like, well, if this person is somebody I care about, then now I need to revise the way that I feel about other people who do that. That's just one example in the world. You can apply that as you will. So let's go ahead and go right into the cards here. The card representing you, the questioner, again, for those that are new, never mind the gender. This is a general reading. This here was bringing forward many things, but primarily the vision. You can see the synapses here in the aura, the halo around the crown area, the very cosmic mindset in the brain. But then also we see the hands, even though the fingertips are on fire with the passion, the release too, there's this dagger at the wrists. And this to me says that sometimes we feel as though our hands are tied by things such as social limits that don't define our own limits and our own beliefs. It's like, well, because the predominant opinion and expectation is this, then conformity. So this can happen in any number of ways. Like, let's say, somebody's like, oh, you can't wear navy blue and black. My mom used to always say that. And so now I'm like, oh, well, you can't wear navy blue and black. Or, even I didn't think about this until just now, but I did think this yellow and purple combination, it's not for everybody, right? They're opposites on the color wheel. And red and purple, it has its own little dynamic juxtaposition, red and pink. So these are color combinations that represent a little bit more of a risk than if you are just wearing black and white, which seemingly always match. I think you get it. Just used as a metaphor. So it's like the black and white imagery, it doesn't do much to allow for the deviations of the human dimension. It doesn't help us in overt ways to actually develop the personal identity. Oh, I forgot I have coffee here for once. So there's this second card, and I did not say that is the first card is the Nine of Air. And so Nine of Air, with this cosmic vision questing, it was also giving me real quick this, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the X-Men. Oh shoot, what's her name? The main one, the one who, Mystique. I can't believe I forgot that. I was just thinking about a cat I had and her name was Mystique. Odd. Odd. So Mystique, she was a shapeshifter, and she was able to, once she saw somebody's DNA, then she could replicate and show herself in that image, even down to voice and clothing. And this here with this bondage kind of reminds me of somebody who has the limiting belief that they can't be anything that they can imagine, that they have to conform. Because part of her backstory, the Mystique's backstory, was that she was demonized not only for being a mutant, but being so, she could obviously use her powers for so much evil as well. And so people feared her, demonized her, and then she kind of became a bit of a bad guy in many of the movies because of many things, and the chip on her shoulder, which kind of comes up later when we have this activation of the heart and the mind. So crossing the mystique of the persona that we have here, we have this fiery individual. And so where the hands were previously bound, now the hands kind of, the wrists become untethered, and there becomes this initial manifestation of the cosmic vision brought into the outer world, because now he's in this personal format. It's like, here's this soul essence trapped inside the human body, this divine being who is like a god. And then we have this fiery manifesto. It's like the projected persona of the individual. It's like maybe even talking about a masculine driven or expressed individual who has a very highly developed intuition and feminine ability to nurture, because we're talking about an individual here who has quite a lot of development going on between the masculine and feminine aspects of their own personality. So it's like the air and the fire. The air and the fire are a perfect combination. The air feeds the fire, and the fire builds with more oxygen. At the basis of the situation related to the above, the basis is this zero card. It's in this deck called the card of choice. And if you look at this, these three different doors, it's like in the past it's been tried to learn more. We've tried emotional expression, we've tried appealing and inspiring, we've tried getting into the underworld, we've tried grounding out deep and clinging to the wisdom of our ancestors here. We've tried different energetic means here, and there's been a lot of trial and error here with this choice card. And at the end of the day, I think that some of you will be identifying with really wanting to express more fully yourself, even if you're somebody who has always been somebody that can speak up and advocate for yourself ever since, recognizing you had a voice here. It's like then you're starting to figure out through the use of your choice, wisdom, and emotional fluctuation and compassion and understanding and the guidance of your ancestors, you're understanding how to utilize the way that you're able to not untether, but to cooperatively express as this cosmic and earthly individual inspired action here, that process of inspired action and the use of your choice. It seems like you're making some type of a breakthrough. So crowning, we have the feminine here depiction, I believe, of this fiery masculine. See that reddish hair here. It's like, yeah, it's like the manifesto. It's like the this is just in its becoming. You can see his hair's more mystic. He's got this trunk of a tree here. It's like this is almost an astral, the becoming process. And here we have the feminine, and she's got her full transformation underway. She's got the clothing, the robes, and she's even got this mask. And so it's like Mystique utilizing all that she is, all of her divine intention, to then masquerade here as this human and doing well at it. And she has her own charisma and mystique here, and that's like the way that she wants to be seen, as well as her true authentic nature is like better expressed in the forest here than in the city type of a vibe. She's got the so much magic. And with the deer in the background, there's a real subtle, gentle energy coming through that is perhaps the reason for the mask, to mask one's cosmic atypical expression here, because it's been demonized and it's presented limitations before. And so it's like, yeah, I've tried that before. It didn't end well. I was crying, and so I wear this mask or this makeup, for instance, even. So yes, all of this about that, coming clean, the use of our energy, not feeling as fulfilled when we fake or falsify the personal expression. So here behind the questioner, we have the Four of Earth. I'm sensing that there's also someone, perhaps it can always represent aspects of yourself, but this seems to be someone in the recent past who was holding things up, and it's somewhat of a double-edged sword. This individual may have had more of a more conflict-laden relationship with you. There may be some competition or something else, where even though this individual thought that they were helping, and maybe you thought that they were helping, and there was some element of material support happening here as he's holding that capstone, there's this critical decision about the nature of that relationship and whether or not that's holding up the momentum of moving forward with some other thing, such as this primary vision. So this individual from the recent past may represent someone who is not going forward with you at this time, whether or not that's temporary. Moving into the future, I'd like to compare where you are now with this future. Look at this color combination. So we go from this vision through this process of authentication and creating choice and decision point, some type of difficult decision that may have had 1, 2, 3 chances to grow and evolve. And since the writing was on the wall, this individual takes back all of that power and creates this exponential personal development here. So instead of this cosmic identity feeling that they needed to be presenting as this earthly being. It's almost like here we have their ability to be a healer. So it's like I don't have a reference movie or anything, but it seems like there's been the depiction in the past of where the individual's magic is new to them, and then they're trying to figure out how to wield that magic, and then by the end there's this maturing and adapting to that extreme power. And through this, it's like you'll see the one being depicted with like a stripe of gray hair all the time, all of a sudden, or like their whole hair goes white. And so it's sometimes the depiction of an individual who's kind of like had their hair blown back by their potential and their magic, and then once they embrace it, it creates somewhat of a spontaneous evolutionary genetic shift in their actual body as their body changes and adapts. And so I'm seeing that here, where this cosmic vision here begins to truly step forward, and this is like the unmasking here and adapting to that. I'm also really drawn to that caduceus here, showing Hermes perhaps, or Thoth, speaking perhaps about the healing arts, specifically chakras. We have those pastels with the black and the white and the fire and the water. It's like it's depicting to me the coming online of the full feminine and the full masculine within one individual, fully online. And so this is a powerful transformation, perhaps, of you embracing your sovereign nature and recognizing that your magic and the support that you have allows you to see beyond any false claims that you need to be overpowered or subdued or placed under another person's care or authority. You're standing alone and independent in your ability to make this choice and to sever any types of connections or narratives that no longer serve. Moving into the other side here, we've got this first card depicting you once again with, this is actually the card of the heart and mind blending here. It's the 11 of water. And so we've got this earth and water, practicality and potentiality blending is definitely with the vision, and this 6 of, what is that? 6 of air here, with the way that that activation is coming, and then this heart mind, it's talking about how the energy is, how the flow of energy is moving through the body and being integrated more fully. And so it's like you're bringing more of your body online than ever before, more of your mind, more of your cosmic awareness, more of your gifts, and more intuition. And so through this, whatever challenge this is, that's kind of bringing some type of unique perspective, whether it's simply making a choice to leave something behind, or embracing more fully your own potential and magic here, or having somebody reveal something such as a loved one that challenges an idea, or whether you might be providing this heart mind expansion for somebody that cares about you or that you care about. Could even be in a very collective what do I want to say, community type of a level, where you're saying, yes, but these are the deeper facts, these are the deeper implications. And then in that way, it's not just about black and white. It becomes like, these are real people in my community having these experiences, and this shifting other people's perspectives around that, because it's not about me or others espousing their beliefs and trying to switch people's ideas. It's the fact that one size doesn't fit all, and that this is about, even just the preservation of life itself depends upon not homogeny, but diversity, so that it preserves the genetics and the species in general. It creates immunity to disease. On the just culture, the alchemical level. So I don't want to get too far off into that tangent right now. So then we start talking too about, with this next card, other people's thoughts and opinions about you, or their bearing upon you, your interpretation of them, type of thing. But other people in this situation, and I feel like this card is related to the one in the recent past that you may have had the combative situation with, one that was, you were in deep in some type of way, either under contract, could be marriage or working together or friendship, family, something like that. I feel like this is the individual that you needed space from and that you took a time away from. And it's coming through as though, real or imagined, this individual comes through as a manipulator, as somebody who plays games, and you could, for some of you, maybe the word player would be appropriate. Maybe for others, it's somebody who favors things like addictions, like gambling or gaming, or irresponsible money handling, or exploitation in different ways. It could be so many different things, but it could be somebody who's a workaholic. We've got the Capricorn, the devil depiction here, the trickster energy, and this crying silhouette in the background reminds me of the choice here that you had to make at the foundation of your life, which tells me that this isn't the first time you've come across somebody who has seemed like a charlatan in your world and has caused you to wake up a little bit more, that, if this can happen to me, then I can understand easily how it can happen in the lives of others. This may have to do with gaslighting, brainwashing, cult-like behavior, and our ability to figure out what it's going to take for us to assist other people to not be brainwashed, and to not tell them how to follow our indoctrination and our control, but how to be more critical and empathic and intuitive seekers and responders. So yeah, there are those here that are trying to hang on to us for gain. We see that this individual's crying, and because they've got these cards, it's like a bait and switch. The two hands, like, oh, now you see these cards, and now I own all. I get to grab all your treasures and jewels with my other hand. This could be somebody hanging out in your world, in your home, in your office, somehow exploiting a situation, creating some type of indebtedness or otherwise, that is creating a transfer of power, or a transfer of wealth, or an individual that is gaining somehow while you are being subtly drained. This could be an energy vampire. It doesn't have to be physical wealth that they're taking away from you. It could be them blocking, like if you get into a situation such as a marriage or something, where one individual stops working and tends the home, and then the other person is making all the money, and then they only give like $5 to $20, but you got to bring the receipts for what you spend that on, and they keep all of the money. Now you don't, 10 years down the road, you don't have work experience, you don't have access to resources, you don't have friends because of the isolation, something such as this, right? You have to be very, very aware when these type of individuals subtly come in as the savior and say, oh, well, I'm holding everything up for you here, because perhaps they are holding up your blessings and holding the purse strings. And this individual looks great while you're over here choosing and crying and waiting and bargaining. So this has already come out before. This could even be like a client or a boss. Oh, well, dangling the carrot. Well, once you do this and this, then we're going to maybe give you this promotion. I have a friend who goes back and forth between different companies, and they keep dangling a carrot. Oh, well, we're this and we're that. And she's like always trains everybody. She's always in charge of everybody. She's the highest salesman in the millions of dollars of sales production for this company, well over any of the managers. And she has to often manage the managers, but they seemingly keep her at this lower rung for whatever reason. I could speculate a few ways, but these are the type of practices that we're becoming more and more aware of. And what is that vision of, do we have to put up with this, or are we able to heal this situation, to heal our resonance with this, to break through those old limiting beliefs and to be more clear about who we are, what we stand for, and what our demands are. And if it's not there, then moving on completely, not going back to that toxic ex or that toxic ex job or whatever. So you're showing up as your energy in motion here, as the Sorcerer's Apprentice came through a few days ago. It's coming through again with this individual practicing their magic, practicing their speech, maybe like a law student coming through here where they're giving their, what do you call that, their thing, their presentation to the court, to the jury. It's like kind of the same type of a thing where you are understanding how to make your demands to the universe and being able to conjure something quite different. So coming out in the end, we've got 3 main cards as the possible outcome, and then 2 as kind of overall extra theme cards coming out. So we have the King of Water with, I thought that this was the Queen, but it's actually not. It's more like a knight or an advisor or a page type of an energy. And then we have the Queen of Air. So 2 powerful water energies and an earth energy. To me, this is, if this is not the cosmic divine energies coming into our lives, this is the activation of the self, and how this heart mind activation starts to create more flow and more emotional mastery, which generates greater intellectual mastery. So this King of Water here talks quite a bit about our ability to understand and to feel deeply, to nurture and take action upon our beliefs of being loving and being interconnected. Very psychic and masterful energy there. But then with this energy here of the messenger of the water, it's where we're actually being told to be very careful with our emotional forecasting and our emotional protective nature that sometimes can be the inner gaslighter or succumb to gaslighting from others, where it's like, well, did I really want to be on my own? I don't know. It's kind of nice to be here with them. And, the companionship's nice, or, this job at least creates a stable paycheck. I couldn't get 3 weeks vacation anywhere else. It's like, couldn't you? Maybe you could, because like in my friend's instance, if you're bringing all this to the table, it's in their best interest to keep you, because if you work for their competition, then it's going to cost them double what you were bringing them, because you're going to take that energy someplace else. They won't only lose your multi-millions, you will give those multi-millions to their competition. So that's now double, if not plus or minus of that. So then here we have the Earth Queen coming in, where it's more stabilizing, and that water, instead of just flowing in the cup, flowing in the riverbanks, is actually being utilized to grow something in the actual soil here, of your ability to nurture the seeds of whatever vision this is. So if you need to take your show on the road and be an entrepreneur with your energy, that would be supported. If you're going on your own from a relationship, that's also potentially well starred here, because there's a reason why this is showing up as other individuals being misunderstanding your energy at the very least, but it looks like they are actually exploiting your energy and gaining from something. So this can be like, I heard somebody talking about somebody who would even fake being in love to have a place to stay. And that one made some sense to me, because there are individuals that will do that, right? Even parents and things, making up different things or projecting limitations on you so that you don't leave them behind even. So the last two cards, we have this priest energy with, again, awareness of who would be coming in with their dogma and indoctrination, this culty type energy, versus this crone, this priestess energy. So we have the priest and the priestess. And I do believe that we're being just called to be aware of what energy we're allowing to move through our brain. And so we have delight on the bottom of the deck here. If it creates tension and fear, that is your first clue. So we're already at the end of the video here. Let's get a couple of these code cards before I let you guys go. We've got the Divine Masculine with Alchemy. Off the back here, we have 36, Prosperity. Underneath the deck, we have Romantic Love with Solar Plexus, Third Eye, Perception, a few others showing Empowerment. So a powerful perspective to have the confidence to believe in our intuition and to not be shifted around or misunderstood here in romance. It's like not having somebody come and unground us, disconnect us from our power base or our true perceptions and our own resonance. Yeah, magic and communication. There's a communication within yourself of your magical capacity to effect compassionate change, to create a new alchemical breakthrough, to manifest your blessings here. And that's what it's all about, is breaking through the intuitive borders and boundaries that keep us away from this evolved interconnectivity with our spiritual nature. This authentic self energy here that's trying to come online is speaking very powerfully. So mind your mind and guard your thoughts and vibration. Everything that you think and feel and do is co-creating with the universe. And so it looks like you're ready to create some type of confident and intuitive love in your life. And yeah, that's what I have for you today. So thank you so much for joining. I think I'll extend this one, so check out the Daily Dharma 2 from the same date here, folks. So take care until next time.